Hey, Samurai Guitarist.
Sean?
I'm known for two things.
One of them would be bringing random women on your channel who disappear after a month.
And secrets. But today we're talking about the secret to playing great guitar.
I should say they don't actually like disappear. Like
I'm not like disappearing them. They just
don't come back on the channel after a month.
Move on. Sometimes it's me that moves on. Most of the time it's them that move on. But yeah, I want to talk about some secrets of great guitar playing.
I got a great one.
And there's one overarching secret that I think we both can speak on. I'm going to let you go first.
Well, I would say it's like one of the first things that you ever learn on a guitar. What's the very first thing you teach your students on guitar? What are the open strings?
What are you? E, A, D, G, B, E. Do you have a sentence?
Yeah, I used to use Elvis buys good drugs at Eaton's. Do you know what Eaton's is?
Oh, you go bottom up.
Just because the Elvis buys good drugs at Eaton's was a good one.
It's like
Eaton's is like a Macy's
store.
Yeah, it's like a Macy's.
It's like in the parking lot, like off the counter.
That's how I was taught, and I thought it was funny, and my students used to think it was funny too.
Everybody says Eddie A. Dynamite, goodbye Eddie. You know.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that?
That's amazing.
Eddie A. Dynamite, goodbye Eddie.
That might be better than
But
that.
also, it's like if you're eating dynamite, you're probably extinguishing the flame. So it's it doesn't really. Anyway, this isn't it. What's the secret though?
Well, the secret is you can bring in these open strings in a whole lot of places, and they always sound amazing. Here we go.
What do you got there? What you working with?
So this is just like a D chord. This would be like a replacement for like a D major chord. So instead of playing, you turn it into this lovely lady.
Oh, I love that one.
That has the two open strings in it. Yeah, I love that.
I like putting the C/G chord and then moving that down. So you got the It's a great one.
I mean, there's a lot of places you can bring in these open strings, and I think the more you can incorporate it, it's just like this beautiful, lush sound that I try to incorporate in all aspects of my playing. Rhythm, soloing, bring in the open chords as much as I possibly can.
It rings out. Lush is the word. Why are we contorting our hands in difficult shapes when the open strings can do all the work for us? Or most of the work.
Yeah, and even if you are contorting your hands, just like adding stuff like...
Oh, what's that? What's that?
I'm kind of just like taking this major sixth shape and sliding it around so it starts with a minor sixth, so like the E and the C.
Okay.
And then I'm going up, so I'm kind of getting that same interval, just like moving both those notes up the major scale.
I'm thinking, I see that, and I instantly think A minor 7.
Yeah, okay,
right?
so sure. So it's basically a sixth interval that you're sliding around, which always sounds great.
So it's two different shapes.
So two different shapes. So you got like your you can think of that as A minor 7 C major shape, just like as part of a C major chord. And then the next one is just the same, just third fret of on the D and the B string, both of them. And then you slide that same one up, 2 frets, and then make that major shape, the C major shape. And the same shape up, and then the minor shape, and then the minor shape. Right? Sounds great if you just do that. But it sounds even better if you incorporate.
I knew
play
it.
with the
I knew
G,
those open strings were coming.
Open G and open E string.
Oof.
Did I do that right?
Better. There
That's
we
what I
go.
was supposed to do.
Nice. Yeah. Perfect.
And so it's just one of those situations where if you have like those drone strings ringing out, it creates that underlying thing that kind of just like it's a home base underneath this moving thing. So you have this cool contrast between something that's moving around musically, but you also have this thing that's staying stationary. So listen to it for these two strings. It's a cool contrast.
It's great. I got one for you.
Yeah, sure.
I got a good. All right. So this is my favorite one. Key of A major.
Okay.
Is kind of where it's at. I think it's the prettiest key.
Yeah, love it.
I've done videos on this specific one before where I just keep the B and E string open
I love this one.
on everything, right?
Like that stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna go one further.
Oh.
There's a secret chord
David played.
No. This is the one David played.
Oh.
This is like the revelation for like an after school special.
This
where
is
somebody
the
learned
secret
lesson.
chord that Sean played,
Yeah.
and it pleased his friend.
That's right. And then they disappeared a month later. How about this?
Ooh, like a little major 7.
Yeah, it's like, where'd she go? Oh, she's around. And
it.
for finger style,
Oh, now you got 2 open strings in there.
it sounds great just picked by itself. Now, what I've got here is basically think of like, first things first, you just do like an A major triad where it says open A, octave A. So open A 70, 6G, 5B, right?
Okay.
Get the high string if you want. But take that pointer finger off, so now you've got open A, 70, 6G, B, and then if you can get that high G sharp for the major 7.
Yeah, love it.
So really, I love it because we have the B in there on an A, so it's really like an A major 9, I guess. If you want to call it an inversion, either. What I think is really cool about using open strings to make your guitar sounding great is when you're going in order, right? I'm like ascending,
Yeah, it drops, it goes down.
and then it goes down and then comes up again.
And when
that's
you
like
play that
really
as a
cool
chord, it
thing.
just like throws your
it's like,
twist because you don't expect that at all.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you can move everything up a note higher in the scale. Let's see how that sounds.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
There we go. Keep it going.
No, I've never done this before. This is cool.
Look at
Oh, listen to this
the
one.
discovery. Woo! A major.
So with this, all I'm doing is I have that same major, A major shape, but
Yeah.
I'm moving it into the D major position, but keeping those same open strings.
Oh, and then
ringing out. So this is like an interesting
4-chord.
Yeah, it's a 4 chord, but it's not
Yeah.
really the 4 chord because you got the root there, the A root. So you hear everything in relationship to that A.
So I'm gonna
Super
give you
cool.
an option to do either way, because like my move is always major 7-1 to major 7-4. Is basically every song that I write kind of has
Okay.
that in there. You can do this very easily just by swinging your pointer finger to the D root note, right? 5 on the A string. So you can kind of use this as like a hinge and pivot, and I think that's like a great
that.
guitar exercise. 1 chord. In fact, just solo in the key of A.
And you know, we discovered this because we started talking. We were just trying to put that open strings in there as much as possible. So here's the thing I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Is I'll like just play a chord and just like hit the high E string and see how that sounds. So I might play something like
that.
I don't know, like I might just play a D9. Bluesy, jazzy, and I'll just like hit the E on top. How's that sound? Pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
like duplicating the 9. Or I might do something where like, okay, well here's the, how about the F sharp? Let's see what that sounds like. Interesting. Funky. See what it sounds like if like way out in left field. Let's see if I like put a, how about a G sharp 9? And so, that's pretty out there. I'm hitting like the flat 13 on top of that, but just like experimenting with it, just play a normal chord shape that you might play. See how it sounds if you hit like an open string in there.
I think you're kind of onto something as far as the secret being in the 9s too, right? Like
Extensions.
yeah. So there's something about 7th chord extensions that I feel like we're accustomed to,
Yeah.
right? And they're like the next most common thing after a triad. But the 9s I feel like are underused, and that's why if you'd be like, all right, like let's work that high E string into something. Well, in what key is E the 9? It would be D.
Yeah,
because
so
2
you
is
just
also
like do
9.
D,
So-
D things with that
Yeah,
one, yeah.
I'll just do a full chord scale in D, starting on like, you know, if I just do it in the middle 4 strings, I'll start with B minor. The 7 chord. 1, 2, 3,
like just by having that E
Right.
ring, yeah. So it's not a common note that you would expect to hear in a lot of D stuff, but just by having that ring out. Like it sounds like it's really nice. I'm just playing chords from D. The 1,
Yeah.
5, 6 minor. And it's like really contrasting to have the note that's grounded, the note that's not moving, that stationary point,
Yep.
not being the root.
Exactly.
It's the 9. It's like actually like really cool to do that.
So I think if you find the interval that you like, we've got 5 different strings, right? Because it's 2 E's. Or you could also just retune your guitar and kind of do this in any key. But be like, all right, well, you know, I like the sound of 11 chords or something. So it's like maybe I want to like leave a G open or something, and then I can like count backwards like A, B, C, B, C, D, whatever, you know, it's like, and then I get to D again, and it's like, all right, well I'll just do those chords, and I'll leave that open.
Lovely.
You know, there's like a million different ways to kind of do that.
Yeah, and even when you're soloing too, if you're just like playing, doing something that has an E or a B note in it, it sounds like really cool too. Like just droning out there, like I'm just kind of going through an E major scale. Yeah. So, you know, maybe that's a little more than you would do it, but I'm just trying to illustrate a point that hitting that open string, like really just fills out your lines.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You know what? Those are the best secrets. Open secrets.
They're
Right.
open secrets.
Except maybe here in Los Angeles. People get in trouble a lot of times. You know what's no longer a secret is you've got a new Samurai Dojo that just opened up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, weekly lessons that are just like kind of a clear path. If you want to get better at guitar, if you want to tune out the noise and just focus on like one specific thing every week, that's what I do. It's short lessons that are about 10-15 minutes long, and then if you've got 15 to 30 minutes to practice them 4 to 5 times a week, then I think you can get a lot out of that, and you can find that at samuraiguitartheory.com.
For cheaper than one in-person guitar lesson,
Yeah,
you can sign up for my Patreon in his dojo, and then between that, you've got literally everything you could ever want in guitar education.
I would say so.
Yeah, so check that out. Thank you for coming over and spilling the tea, spilling the secrets out here. Do you want to get back to the hand drum? We also mess around with this hand drum. In D.
There's a lot
We've
of...
been doing a lot of D major stuff here.
Yeah.
You want to take them out on a hand drum?
Oh, am I
D
gonna do a hand
major?
drum solo?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Here we go. beautiful.